Okay, so if you're asked how many points of contact do your graph would have with the x-axis, basically what you're asked to find is the value of your discriminant. And we said that the discriminant, the formula for discriminant is b squared minus 4ac. So that's what we need to calculate, knowing that we've got ax squared plus bx plus c. So let's pick one. It's up to you. You can tell me. We've got 6 here. You can pick one in the middle if you want. It's up to you. Which one would you want us to work with?
I would say
D?
yeah.
So let's try that one. So we've got A equal 1, B equal 4, and C equals 6. So I'm going to do B square, which is 4 square, minus 4 times 1 times 6. So 4 square is 16, minus 24. That is negative. So how many points? 0 points. So if you would say 0 points here. No real roots. 0 points of contact because the discriminant is negative.
Negative.
Okay, so that's how you would do it. Remember, if you got minus 3x minus x squared, this is a. So here a is negative 1. B is 3. You just rewrite it as ax plus bx, ax squared plus bx plus c. And here c is 0 for this one, yeah?
Yep.
And I'll let you do the other ones. In this exercise, by first rearranging each equation to its standard form, so the standard form, remember, is ax squared plus bx plus c, so that's what we call the standard form of the quadratic. Determine the nature, so then calculate basically the discriminant. So let's do, we're going to do c this time, okay? So first thing first, get rid of the brackets.
Mm-hmm.
So that means I've got 4 times 2x, that's 8x. 4 times negative 4 minus 16 equal x squared. So if I want to rearrange this, because I'm looking for ax squared plus bx plus c, I can move all these on that side. So what I need to do is I need to take away 8x from this side and add 16. So the same thing here, take away 8x and add 16. And that will give me x squared minus 8x plus 16 equals 0. Now I've got a equal 1, b equal negative 8, and c equals 16. So I need to calculate b squared minus 4 times 1 times 16. So I'll plug that into my calculator. So 64 minus 4 times 16, and I get 0. So 2 equal roots because my discriminant is equal to 0. 2 equal real roots. You can say 2 equal roots. Okay, so that's how you would do it for this one. Next exercise, so now they've introduced me a variable k or p. So remember, real roots can be equal or distinct. So if I was to do 6, we can try 6, or yeah, let's try 7. So for which the equation px squared minus 2x plus 1 equals 0, no real roots. So that means my discriminant here should be equal to 0. So b squared minus 4ac is negative on this one, no real roots. So b squared, so I've got a here, b here, and c here. So b squared means negative 2 squared minus 4p times 1. This should be negative. So negative 2 times negative 2, that's negative. That's positive 4 minus 4p is negative. So because I like everything to be positive when it comes to p, I'm going to add 4p on each side. That means I've got 4 less than 4p, and I divide by 4 each side. That means 1 less than p, or p greater than 1. So if I put p greater than 1 here, for example, 2, 3, 4, I'll have no real roots. That's how you would answer this question. Okay. So we've looked at the discriminant. Now let's have a look at what we call quadratic formula. So the quadratic formula is a formula that is given to you in your formula list. So you've got a formula list, and in order to explain how to find the roots, we can solve a quadratic equation by using what we call a quadratic formula. So I'm going to show you what a quadratic formula looks like. So if you can't factorize, or you can't solve graphically by using the graph like we've been doing for the past hour or so, an equation, then your only option is to use what they call the quadratic formula. Okay, so that's the only option you've got. It's given in the formula sheet. So let's see what the quadratic formula looks like. So in your formula list, you'll have something called where you'll see x equal negative b plus and minus root of my discriminant. Remember, b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a.
Yeah.
So remember when you were saying to me, how do I remember b squared minus 4ac? It's in your formula list.
Right.
It's what we call the discriminant, just under that square root. It is there. And remember as well, you were asking me about the turning point. How do I find my turning point to find the value of x? Your turning point is negative b over 2a. So it's when that is equal to 0, you get negative minus b over 2a. So you can always get them that way without having to learn them by heart. Okay, so this formula is given to you in the formula sheet, but you need to be able to exploit it. You need to be able to use it. But to use it, you just need to identify A, B, and C. Because if you remember, it's just made of A, B's, and C. So a question that you might get asked is solve x squared plus 3x minus 3 equals 0. And this is the important clue here. If they ask you to give your answer, for example, to 1 decimal place, there is a chance that you may have to use some square root of some sort. So it's going to be really hard to factorize this using MAM. It's not impossible, but very difficult. Okay, so that's when you're going to use your quadratic formula. So let's identify A, B, and C. A is 1, B is positive 3, and C is negative 3. So remember what we said? It's minus B. So here, if I were you, I would write A equal 1, B equal 3, and C equal negative 3. And you would drop your formula here, minus B plus n minus root of the discriminant b squared minus 4ac. If you've used it quite a lot, you'll see that you'll remember that by heart, over 2a. So b3, so you put 3 here, plus n minus square root b squared, so it's 3 squared, minus 4 times 1 times negative 3. The whole thing divided by 2 times a, which is 1. So the thing I usually say to my student, instead of writing all this onto your calculator, what you should do is do first b squared minus 4ac. Just calculate that first. So 3 squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 3. And we get 21. So instead of typing all this in your calculator, you can just say that x is negative 3 plus and minus, so these are your two values, root 21 divided by 2 times 1, which is 2. So you've got less chance to make a mistake by just calculating this than writing all this inside your calculator. Someone will miss maybe a bracket. To be honest, you don't need that. Those two brackets are overkill. You don't need them. These two you can. So it's safer to just calculate b squared minus 4ac, which is your discriminant, and just now put it under the root square. Okay? So there you go. Let me remove that. So negative 3 plus and minus root 21 divided by 2. So I've got two values, one when it's plus root 21 and one when it's minus root 21. They've asked me to give my answer to one decimal place. So these are my two answers. You can type that in your calculator. So negative 3 plus root 21 divided by 2, and your calculator, you change scientific to decimal, gives you 0.79128. If you do this one, 0.79128. So if I write this, I usually write ... just to say that this is not the final value. And the other one, you can just tab back onto your calculator, change the plus sign with the negative sign, the minus, and you get negative 3.79128 again. So you need to exercise yourself being able to do that. So the question we would ask is to give this answer to one decimal place, yeah?
Yep.
So you look at the second decimal place. If it's 5 or over, you round up. You round up, yeah. So the first answer is 0.8 and the second answer minus 3.8. So you could see if you were to use MAM, it would have been really hard to find x minus 0.8, oh sorry, x plus 0.8 times x minus 3.8, yeah? Actually, that would have been a plus, and that would have been a minus. So can you imagine doing MAM and trying to find a 0.8 or the 3.8? You'd get no chance, basically. So that's why you would use this quadratic formula. Okay. So we've got 4 questions here. Use the quadratic formula to solve the following to 1 decimal place. So first thing first, what did we say? We're going to calculate discriminant first, yeah? So
Yep.
if I was to do this one, I would do b squared minus 4ac, which is 4 squared minus 4 times 2 times 1, which is 16 times 8, 16 minus 8, sorry, which is 8. That's A, that's B, that's C. So my answer should be, for this case here, x equal minus b, which is minus 4, plus and minus root 8. So root 8, we can write it as 2 root 2. Remember, root 8, if you want, you can write it as root 4 times root 2, which is 2 root 2. So plus 2 root 2 divided by 2a. So 2 times 2 is 4. So you can try that in your calculator. Or if they ask you to leave it as a third, you would just say minus 1 plus and minus a half of root 2. Yeah. So if you type that in your calculator, this is the answer you should be getting. Try it. X equal
0.2928.
So negative, yeah?
Yeah.
Then you round it to 1 decimal.
1 decimal place would be 0.3.
Yeah, negative 0.3, yeah. And the other one would just be negative 1.7 rounded to 1 decimal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's how you would work your way through it. The next one we should get, so let's try and do b squared minus 4ac for this one. So I've got a equal 1, b equal 3, and c equal negative 2. b squared is 3 squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 2. So that is 9 plus 8. That is 17. Yeah.
Yep.
So my answer should be x equal minus b, so negative 3, plus and minus root 17 over 2a, which is just over 2. So if I do minus 3 plus root 17 divided by 2, my calculator gives me 0.56, 155, so 0.6, so it's this one there, first one there. And if I change the plus with a minus sign, I should get minus 3.56, which is 3.6. So that's how you would do them. You would identify your A, your B correctly, and your C, you would calculate discriminant first. minus 9 square minus 4 times 5 times 3. That is 21. Positive discriminant, that means I would get two real roots and distinct. So minus b, so that becomes plus 9 plus and minus root 21 divided by 2a, which is 10. So 9 plus root 21. So 1.358.
1.4.
Yeah, 1.4. And the other one, 0.4. So 0.44, which is just 0.4. Yeah. So step by step, you just need to remember it's minus b using your formula, plus and minus root of your discriminant divided by 2a. And for the last one, you would do the exact same work. And then you would get x equal 1.9 and negative 0.9. So all of these had real distinct roots. So it's usually what would happen. So if for some reason you're asked to solve this and give your answer to, I don't know, 2 decimal point, and you made a mistake, you type and you get a b square minus 4ac negative, I would ask you to try again, just in case somewhere you've made a small mistake. Yeah, so instead of putting those brackets, for example, in front of the minus, you just put negative 9 square. And that meant here you wouldn't get a 21, you would get something negative. Okay, so try again, do a few times, and you'll find out if they ask you to give answers. That means there are answers there. Okay, whereas if you take your calculator and you type root of a negative number, it shouldn't work. It should come with an error. Okay, so these are the type of, I've just pulled a question from a past paper. So solve the equation giving the roots correct to 1 decimal place. So whenever you're going to see this, give your roots to 1 decimal place, then that should ring a bell to you saying, oh, I need to use my quadratic formula here. So what you would do, you would say, okay, a equal 2, b equal negative 6, c equal negative 5. My discriminant is b squared minus 4ac, negative 6 squared, minus 4 times 2 times negative 5. So if I type that in my calculator, open bracket, negative 6, close bracket, square, minus 4 times 2 times, open bracket, negative 5, close bracket, I get 76.
Yep.
My answer would be x equal minus b, so plus 6, plus and minus root 76 divided by 2a, which is 4. So you would plug that in your calculator. So 6 plus root 76 close bracket divided by 4. So I get 3.679. To 1 decimal place, that would be 3.7 for my first one. My next one is minus 76, minus root 76, and that gives me negative 0.679, and that is negative 0.7. And you've got all your marks, 1 mark, 2 marks, and third marks to plug it in. So that sometime you would see given 3. So easy marks to get because you've got your formula inside your formula sheet. Okay. So to practice these, because that's what it is, basically it's just practice, making sure that you can use your calculator. So you've got 19C question 2 and 19D question 1. We're going to do a couple of them. Are we good?
Yep.
So let's try a couple of these. They're just going to be tedious. Solve the following, giving your answer to 1 decimal. So let's do the one in the middle here. We're going to do this one. So again, first thing first, A equal 1, B equal 4, C equal 1. Discriminant B square minus 4AC is 4 square minus 4 times 1 times 1. 16 minus 4 is just 12. Now, to find my answers, I've got a positive discriminant. So I've got x equal minus b, so minus 4, plus n minus root 12 divided by 2a, which is just 2. So I've got two answers, a positive one and probably a negative one. Let's see. So minus 4 plus root 12 divided by 2. So first answer, negative 0.267. And the second answer, negative 3.732. So 3 marks. Do you think I'll get the 3 marks here?
No, should not put 1 decimal place.
Correct. So you need to finish that by saying this is minus 0.3 for this one. And this is minus 3.7 for this one.
See, for that first answer, I got negative 2.26.
Let me try
What am I
again.
doing?
So,
I think I'm typing it in wrong.
So was it negative 4 to start with?
Mm-hmm.
Then minus root 12?
Minus root 12,
Divided by 2?
Divided by 2.
So I get negative 3.732. And the
See,
other
now
one,
I've got negative 5.732.
did you put the brackets when you divided by 2?
No, that's what I've missed.
So yeah, you can either do it like that on your calculator, but if you don't want to do it like that in your calculator, you need to make sure that when this is what you need to write on your calculator. So open bracket, negative 4 plus root 12, then you close bracket, and then you type divide by 2.
Right.
Because your calculator is a Casio and you've got that wee fraction, so I would advise you to use the fraction bit. So that means you're not going to make that mistake you've just made. It's so easy to forget that. Because what happens if you miss those brackets? BODMAS tells us that the calculator will do the division before doing any add or subtract. So you've divided just root 12 by 2, not negative 4 plus root 12. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
yeah,
thank you.
that's okay. Try and get used to use the, you know, the full functionality of your calculator.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So is that the one where it's got the brackets and the kind of fraction sign in between?
So it's the one that's got like a, I don't know if you could see my, can you see my calculator?
That one?
Hold on. I'll see if I can see you.
That's
Can you see my calculator there?
that's just a dash cost, I think. That one.
Yeah, I can see yours. No, further up.
So it's this button here to do the fraction. See where I'm pointing? That wee button.
Let's bring it closer to the screen.
That
Yeah,
one is the
right,
fraction.
no, I've got that one. Right, that's fine.
So that's the one that
Oh.
lets you type in fraction.
That one. That one.
Yeah,
No.
so it's that one there. Yeah, I can see it.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
tend to use that. Otherwise, make sure you put the brackets.
Yeah. Well, it's just a couple of times that I've noticed that my answers were just slightly out from yours. So.
It's to do with that.
Yes.
So 19D is very simple, but this time, which of the following will require the use of the quadratic formula in order to solve them? Okay, so it's a bit like you're going to try and see, can I use MAM or can I use my, yeah, so basically to answer this question, a quick way to answer this question is just do your discriminant. It's the discriminant. So we're going to do this one in the middle here. So let's pick this one. So the thing you do is, before you do discriminant, rewrite this as negative 2x squared plus 3x plus 5. Now decide this is A equal negative 2 there, B equal 3, and C equal 5. So you just need to calculate B squared minus 4AC. So 3 squared minus 4 times negative 2 times 5. So that'd be 9 plus 40. So that'd be 49. Yeah?
Yep.
So that means for this one, you don't need to use a quadratic formula because you know that root 49 is 7. So you would just say, because root 49 equals 7, we could have used MAM here if we wanted to. But your answer would be minus B, which is minus 3, plus and minus 7 over 2A. So what was A again? Negative 2, negative 4. So negative 3, negative 7, that's negative 10. Negative 10 divided by 4 is negative 5 over 2. Minus 2.5 would be one answer. The other one would be negative 3 plus root 7, that's 4. So 4 divided by minus 4 is just minus 1. Yeah? So we could have solved this without using a calculator here, because root 49 is 7. So that's what you do. You just look at your discriminant and decide from the discriminant. If you've got a number like, I don't know, 17 or a 13, then you know that root 17 is going to give you, then you say, in order to solve them, I would need to use the quadratic formula. Okay. And we've got a few other questions after that. So let's have a look here. So basically, state the equation of symmetry. So yeah, let's try and do a past paper question. The equation of the parabola in the above diagram is y equal x minus 1 square minus 16, states the coordinate of the minimum turning point. Okay, so you've been asked to state the coordinate of that point there. So what we said last time was this point, we will get to this minus 16 when this is equal to 0. So x minus 1 equals 0. When x equal 1. So the coordinate of the minimum turning point is 1, negative 16. X minus 1 is 0, meaning x equal 1. And when x equal 1, I've got negative 16. So that would be your first mark. Okay, so some people can just read it from the formula straight away, or you can just say, okay, this is a turning point. It happens when this quantity here is 0. Now, state the equation of the axis of symmetry. Remember, the axis of symmetry is this line here. And it's a straight line. And it's x equal 1. So on this line here, x is always equal to 1. And that's what the axis of symmetry is. Now the parabola cuts x-axis at A and B. Find the length of A and B. So to find the length, you would need to find A, and then you would need to find B. So there are more than one way to do this. But what you could do is you could find, for example, let's say we're going to try and do x. So this is y equal x squared minus 2x plus 1. So that's x minus 1 squared. So it's x times x. So basically that's what you would do. You would do x minus 1 times x minus 1. Remember, you do x times x, that's x squared, minus x, that's minus 2x, negative 1 times negative 1, which is plus 1, minus 16. And that is just x squared minus 2x minus 15. Yeah? So we've been asked to find A and B. It's just to solve that x squared minus 2x minus 15. So to get A and B, you need to solve that x squared minus, is to find the roots basically, equals 0. So can we use MAM here? So there's two ways, right? We can either use MAM or we can use the quadratic formula. So I've got two numbers. If I time them together, I get negative 15. And when I add them, I get 2.
Negative 3 plus 5.
So
No,
if
negative 5 plus.
yeah, so negative 5, because this needs to be the negative, plus 3. That gives me my answers, yeah?
Mm.
And when is this equal to 0? When x minus 5 equals 0, meaning x equals 5, yeah? So we've got this first point, 5 and 0 in y. And the other one, x plus 3 equals 0, which means x equal -3. So A is going to be -3 and 0. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, -1, -2, -3. So what's the distance between this point? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the distance between the length of A and B is just 5 minus 3, which is just 8. So it's 8 units. And that's your last mark there. So this is a typical quadratic type question that you could get during a Nat5 exam. Coordinate of a turning points. What is the axis of symmetry? You need to write it correctly with x equals something. And then find the lengths, but to find the lengths, you need to find these. So that would have been 1, 2, that would have been 3 marks for this one. So 3 marks for this one, 1 mark for this one. And coordinate the minimum turning point. Yeah, that would be 1 mark. So this exercise would take 5 marks. Okay. Any
5
questions?
marks, you said, yeah.
Any questions?
5 marks, you said, for that question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In totals, I've put it down there.
Big question.
All right, thanks. Thanks.
So we've used MAM because we noticed that straight away. But if you were stuck and you think, I can't use MAM, you know, don't despair. Just say, okay, you'll open your formula sheet and you've got here A equal 1, B equal -2, C equal -15. Yeah. And you could work yourself to find what B squared minus 4AC is. So that's 4 minus 4 times -15. And you would get here 64. And root 64 is just 8. And then you would say, oh, minus B, that's 2, plus and minus 8 over 2A. And that will give you your MAM factors. What's 2 plus 8? 10. 10 divided by 2. So you would get first answer 5. 2 minus 8 is -6. -6 divided by 2 is your -3. So don't despair. If you can't find MAM, you've got S now. You've learned how to use the quadratic formula by just finding your discriminant, taking the root of it, and writing minus B plus A minus the root of 64, which is 8 divided by 2A. You do get your value for B and A. So there's more than one way to get to the answer. Factorizing is a good way because that means you don't need to use your calculator. Okay. For example, in this one, you've got to factorize. So you need to get the mark to factorize. So here you would use MAM. So you would look at what you've been given. You would go
x minus 7 plus 3.
Yeah, x negative 7, yeah, minus 7 plus 3. So that's 1 mark there.
At least I'm getting 1 mark.
And remember, even in a non-calculator paper, you will still get your formula sheet. So if you can't find the 7 and the 3, you can decide, oh, I'm going to try and calculate b squared minus 4ac for this one. And that'd be 16 minus 4 times negative 21. And you get 100. So then you know what root 100 is. Root 100 is 10. That's you. You've got minus b, which is 4, plus and minus 10, divide by 2. And that should give you your two answers. So 4 minus 10, 6. The negative 6. Negative 6 over 2 is negative 3. Is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
For one answer. And 4 plus is 14. 14 divided by 2 is 7. So you know that you need to get x minus 7 for one of them, times x plus 3 for the other one. So you could find these by using what you've learned today, if you can't do MAM, for example. So the roots here would be 7 and 0, which is this one there, and negative 3 and 0, which is this one here. The graph is shown here. Find the coordinates of the turning points. I've got 7, I've got negative 3. Remember what we said, it's halfway between them two. So you say x is 7 minus 3 divided by 2. So 4 over 2 is 2. So x equal 2 here. And when x equal 2, you can use that one. 2 minus 7 is negative 5. 2 plus 3 is 5. 5 times negative 5, negative 25. Yeah?
Yeah.
So that means you can write here 2, negative 25 is the coordinate of your turning point. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Or if you were stuck with this, you would think, how can I get this? You remember there's another way of completing the square. So you would say x squared minus 4x is x minus 2 square. But because you add 4, you need to take away 4. Minus 4 minus 21 is minus 25. And you can get your value now. So we just completed the square. And we've got x equal 2. And when x equal 2, y equal negative 25. That could have been another way of doing it. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Completing the square. So I think for every question that you will get, you do have at least 2 ways using the quadratic formula or completing the square if you're stuck that you can't do 7 minus 3 divided by 2, for example. Okay. So they're very similar, the type of question you will get. So yeah, state the value of A, P, etc. Solve the equation. Yeah, so this, did you see this one? 4 marks, past paper question. Give the roots 1 decimal place. It's going to be a calculator question, and you've got your formula sheet. So the first thing you would do is A equals 3, B equals 7, C equals negative 5, b square minus 4ac, so 7 square minus 4 times 3 times -5, I get 109. My answer, so this is 1 mark. My answer are going to be x equal minus b, so minus 7, plus and minus root 109 divided by 2a, 6.
Yes.
That is another mark. And now we're going to do the calculation to get my third mark. So -7 plus root 109 divided by 6.
0.5.
0.573.
Yeah.
One decimal, please.
0.6.
Which is 0.6. Yeah, if you want, you can write that there. That's an extra mark. And the second one
is -2.906.
Minus,
Okay.
yeah.
2.9.
So negative
Negative
2.906 dot dot dot, which is negative 2.9, and that's your fourth mark. So mark for this. Actually, what they'll do, instead of doing mark for this, they'll do a mark for these two and a mark for these two once you round them, so that you don't get penalized if you forget to round. See, the mark would be for gain from there to there, or okay, and then the mark for doing your discriminant and the mark for writing the quadratic formula. So easy 4 marks to get. Okay. And even if you can't round to 1 decimal, you can still get 75% of the mark there.
Yep.
And then it's just more and more of these, to be honest. I think we've done all the quadratic. There's probably about 50 odd questions that we can do whenever we do some. So
sorry to interrupt. When do you think we'll start revising for
the second assessment?
Yes.
So basically today, if we were given the chance to get back to school on the 1st of February, for example, or to college, then this would be us now next week revising, go and sit. But because we don't know when we're going to get back, or we've been told already it's not going to be for 2 weeks, we're going to finish next week and the week after the, all the relationship section. Because remember, I told you that the unit 2, we do it in 2 unit assessments.
Yeah.
So once we finish it, that means we've only got a last unit to work on. So it's better that we work on the courses and they're in the bag, and then we revise whenever we go to do an assessment.
Yeah.
It's better to be fresh before the assessment, kinda, rather than if we do the revision next week, it's a bit of a waste, because for the next 2 weeks we won't be able to get in.
Yeah, I don't think the weekend will go in mid-February still.
Yeah, I think it's going to be end February at least.
At least, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that does make sense. No, sorry to interrupt.
No, that's fine. That's okay. I think we're done anyway. The rest is just a few questions and more questions on past papers. So for example, this one, Maria has been asked to find the roots of this equation. She decides to use the quadratic formula, so she's entitled to it. Calculate the value of b squared minus 4ac. So you would just go, okay, a equal 1, b equal 3, and c equal 5. You would do 3 squared minus 4 times 1 times 5, and that's 9 minus 20. Straight away, I can see this is negative. Now, explain why Maria cannot find the roots. So she won't be able to find the roots because the discriminant, so you just say discriminant is negative. There's no roots. So here you would just say b squared minus 4ac is negative, that implies
Can't think
no
of it.
roots. That's enough. So you get here'd be probably 2 marks for that kind of exercise,
Yeah.
Mhm.
because you don't have to
It's-
do much. You've only got to do this and remember that if it's negative, no roots.
And you're saying that's a past paper question?
Yeah, this was on a past paper question. Exactly. You
Get
could,
one of them in my exams.
They're
so
always black and white, Kirsty. They're just like that's
Oh.
how there's not. It's not designed to be.
yeah,
You know.
basically
the
you
real
get,
thing.
yeah. Otherwise, when they start to make it a bit too complicated,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's
Same
just.
here. Find the roots. Yeah, to
I
find
don't
the
mind.
roots, you will need to factorize. Yeah.
I prefer. I don't mind MAM. I quite like the formula MAM and also using the quadratic formula. I quite like both, but as you said, the one small hiccup or one small error could really be. It could really knacker the whole.
Yeah. So
thing.
there is an interesting one. Whenever you're going to get that kind of work where you've got a negative x, so people tend to solve this. It's easier. So you would write, for example, minus x squared plus 8x equals 0, right? So that's exactly the same thing here. So what you could do is you can put the minus outside and deal with x squared minus 8x equals 0. So if you're asked to find the roots, the minus is minus 1. So you know minus 1 can't be equal 0. So this will only be equal 0 if this portion is equal to 0. So that means you can factorize with x times x minus 8. And that is equal to 0 if x equals 0 or x equal 8. So now find the roots. The roots are 8, 0 and 0, 0. So this negative in front of the x sometimes throw people off. But what you can do is by putting it outside, you can just make it as if you had a positive now quadratic to work with. And this to be equal to 0 is that. Now state the equation of symmetry. 8 and 0. What's half between 8 and 0?
4.
Well,
There you go. So you just write x equal 4.
that's pretty easy.
Yeah, or you can just say 8 plus 0 divided by 2, which is what we've done before. But you can just state 4.
Yeah.
You won't lose a mark. Now, the turning point is when x equals 4. So you look at here. You just say y equal 8x minus x squared when x equals 4. Y equal 8 times 4 minus, but this time it's just 4 square.
24 minus 16. 8.
8.
Yeah, so that's you there.
Coordinates is 8, 4.
So now coordinates, remember you need to write them as x and y. Take that habit, even if they don't ask you, always do that. And then you can put it there as well if you want, 4 and 8. And that's you. So this would have been factorizing, find the roots. So that would be 2 marks for each. Then axis of symmetry is just 1 mark, and coordinate would be 1 mark. So again, that would be a good fat 4. Yeah. So quadratic, very common. Factorizing, yeah, give the roots. Yeah, so there's about 50 odd questions there. Okay, so I'm going to stop recording. I think we're going to call it a day.